Hey everybody. I didn't really know how to make this video, how to start it. I know things are kind of tough out there for people right now. It's very divisive. Just kind of wanted to talk, I just kind of wanted to talk. There's war going on, environmental disasters, inflation, times are tough, making ends meet. Seems like there's a lot of violence, again, division. I kind of mentioned it. It just seems like everything is just kind of bubbling up, So I just kind of wanted to talk to y'all directly, be a little more somber, a little more serious, I guess you could say. And just talk. And, to do that, though, I kind of want to put on a different hat, both metaphorically and literally. So just give me a second. And the thing I wanted to talk to you guys about mainly is how Die Hard is not a Christmas movie, and I'm sick of it. We're gonna end the debate right here, right now. Viking helmets on. I'm freaking amped. I've been drinking caffeine all day, and we're going to end this debate once and for all. I've had enough of this consumeristic, capitalistic propaganda, and I'm here to break the conditioning. You sheeple out there who think that Die Hard is a Christmas movie have to be broken. You have to be called to the carpet. You have to be called out on your BS, okay? So we're doing it right here, right now. And I'm just going to absolutely flatline y'all, okay? I bring receipts, as always. I've got notes here. I've been waiting for this all day. I've been doing my homework, and I'm ready to go, okay? Ask anyone. I'm undefeated in debates, 5,732-0, all right? I literally am the undefeated champion of anything and everything, anywhere, anytime, all right? Don't fact check it. Just believe me, okay? So here we go. All right, we're going to jump right into it. I got this article pulled up here, which kind of encompasses the other side of the debate, right? People who argue in the affirmative that it is a Christmas movie, sheeple as I call them, who argue that Die Hard is a Christmas movie, right? This article kind of sums it up, right? And I've heard some other arguments that I might get into, and I have my own, of course, right? But we're going to go through this first. We're going to go through this first. We're going to see what they say. This largely does sum up what I hear from the other side. Okay. So this is 9 reasons why it's a Christmas film, all right? And I have my own list of movies in which I'll use for reference why this is not a Christmas movie, correct? And we're just going to end this debate once and for all. And we're gonna free your mind, as Morpheus would say, right? We're gonna take the red pill. We're gonna see how far the rabbit hole goes. All right. So the main thing that people always say, which is so dumb, is that this movie happens during Christmas time, and that's why it's a Christmas movie. Nay, I say nay. The main reason that doesn't work, that logic doesn't hold out, right, is you need mainly 2 things for something to be called a Christmas movie, in my opinion, and you guys can argue the criteria, right? I challenge anyone. I take on all comers, I'm not scared. We can hash this out. We can debate it out. You'll lose, of course, but, that's just the way it goes when you come at the champ. Everyone misses when they come at the champ. So the main thing is that it happens during Christmas, right? Christmas Eve. And that's where it stops. That's literally where that's 90% of their argument, correct? And so the other main thing that you need for something to be a Christmas movie is it has to have the Christmas spirit. It has to have a Christmas theme about what Christmas is all about, right? Coming together with the family, going on road trips in bad weather, buying presents, exchanging gifts, sitting around the Christmas tree telling stories, Christmas dinner, right? Going to a Christmas Day parade. Whatever it is, right? There's so many things that encapsulate the quote-unquote Christmas spirit, right? That is what truly makes a Christmas movie a Christmas movie. Simply being held during the season or time of Christmas is not valid enough and does not hold enough weight for something to be categorized as a Christmas movie, right? And that's literally the only argument that they have is that, well, it happens on Christmas Eve and there's some funny jokes and innuendos about Christmas, and that's about it. And they say, well, it's about him trying to get home for his family, right? That is like a very tiny, minute detail. It's like a subplot of a subplot in terms of the movie, right? The whole point of Die Hard, right? All of the films is about Bruce Willis and some kind of action drama thriller stopping some criminal mastermind or madman from stealing money or hacking the American system and infrastructure, blowing something up, some kind of terrorist act, right? That is the premise, the theme, and the setting and the plot of Die Hard, correct? And simply because it happens on Christmas Eve and he's trying to get home to his family, that's just another day at work in this film. That's just another day at work. It wouldn't have mattered if it was Christmas or not. Just like Die Hard 3 and 4 they don't take place during Christmas. There's no seasonal theme to Die Hard. There is no consistent Christmas or even holiday theme with the Die Hard movies. Now, yes, Die Hard 2 technically takes place on Christmas Eve again. But as with 2, as with 1, is that it is not centered around Christmas. Christmas is just a backdrop to the movie. It's just sort of a setting, and that's it. That's where it ends with Christmas. There is no Christmas spirit about Die Hard, correct? And so that's just my whole that's the main argument that they make, and that's my main rebuttal, is that something simply being around Christmas time does not make it a Christmas movie. Very far from it, and we'll get deeper into that here in a second. But let's go through these points they make here, and we're going to see why it's such a reach to call Die Hard a Christmas movie, correct? So the basic narrative of Die Hard, right, is that he's trying to get back to his family for Christmas, right? That is not the main theme or the plot of Die Hard, right? It's not as if he goes off on 100 little funny adventures, right? It's not like Jingle All the Way, right? It's not like the overall ending theme or setting or driving motive of the movie is that he all he's thinking about is Christmas with his family. The whole thing is that he's trying to stop a terrorist from stealing a bunch of money. That's what Die Hard is about. That has nothing to do with Christmas. Die Hard is an action crime drama series, and Christmas is merely a backdrop. It is not a Christmas movie. It has nothing to do with the spirit of Christmas. How many people can relate to stopping a terrorist trying to steal millions or billions of dollars from some kind of corporation or the U.S. government? How many people in their Christmas lifetime, the amount of Christmases they've been on, were like, oh yeah, that one time I had to stop a terrorist on my way to grandma's. That's totally what Christmas is about. No one can identify with that. That has absolutely nothing to do with Christmas. All right. So the basic narrative is that he's trying to get home for his family for Christmas. My main rebuttal to this is like planes, trains, and automobiles, correct? The whole thing about planes, trains, and automobiles is two guys who couldn't be any more different. One gets on the nerves of the other more than the other way around. They're going on all these sort of felonious mishaps and miscues and adventure across the country to get back home. I've never heard anyone call Planes, Trains, and Automobiles a Thanksgiving movie. It's not really about Thanksgiving. That's just the backdrop. That's sort of just one of the motives of what they're trying to do and one of the driving sort of subplots of the movie. It's not a Thanksgiving movie. It is a movie about people who couldn't be any more different with a comedic spin on it, with the late, great John Candy and Steve Martin. And so Planes, Trains, and Automobiles isn't a Thanksgiving movie. So I don't see how anyone could say that simply because Bruce Willis is trying to get back to his family for Christmas, that makes it a Christmas movie, correct? So that's the first one. The third point, because it kind of goes in with the first one, is that it takes place on Christmas Eve, right? Not Thanksgiving or 4th of July. It could have been set anywhere in a year, but it wasn't. Again, this doesn't make it a Christmas movie. There's no Bruce Willis sitting around the Christmas tree with his family, and they're like having to deal with goofy relatives and being stressed out and all of that kind of stuff, right? No one can identify with stopping a terrorist plot in a high rise or a skyscraper who's trying to steal a bunch of money, right? That has nothing to do with Christmas. It's not a Christmas theme. Now, the only caveat that I will give to Die Hard fans, this is the fact that it takes place in Christmas. I give you that, but in my opinion, that's not enough. That's simply a backdrop, something just being a backdrop that has nothing to do with the motive and the plot of the movie. Now, the other thing I will give them is that Die Hard 2 technically takes place on Christmas again, right? That is really the only sort of ground that I will cede. The thing is where they lose it, though, is that when they go into 3 and 4 and 5 with the Die Hard movies, is that they break away from that theme. And I would almost give it to them or cede even more ground if Die Hard 3 and 4, etc., were holiday movies as well, but they're not. They're just back to the main plot and setting of Die Hard is stopping some kind of terroristic bad guy from carrying out his evil plan, right? That is the main premise of Die Hard, correct? That is the whole, modus operandi of the movie. It has almost nothing to do with Christmas. And so that's just what I wanted to say there, is that first and second, I would almost give it to you, but then they kill it with 3 and 4. And they abandon the Christmas theme and the holiday theme. Unlike something like Home Alone, right? Home Alone, it is always Christmas. It is always Christmas. It is always about a community and a neighborhood helping each other. People trying to steal things during Christmas time, almost being like a Grinch in a way, the two bad guys. And then in 3, you have like he's trying to help that old lady, or she helps him as well. And it's always these bad guys trying to like be the Grinch of Christmas and stealing people's presents. And of course the family's like rushing to get home. It's about the whole thing is about the family being separated. Remember, the family's all together in the first one, and then they lose him, and then it becomes it's the whole thing though is driven around the spirit of Christmas and the theme of Christmas. And Die Hard doesn't do that. Die Hard is almost strictly a thriller drama about Bruce Willis trying to stop terrorists carrying out some evil plan. That doesn't resonate with Christmas at all. At all. I can tell you, I can literally count on one hand the number of times I've stopped a terrorist on Christmas Eve, or the number of times other people can relate to that. This is how much it is. It's 0. No one can relate to that. It has nothing to do with Christmas. Number 2 here, they say his wife is called Holly. Again, huge reach. This is such a reach. I don't even know why they put this in here. Again, the fact that it's their second point just shows you how weak of an argument that they have. Like that has nothing to do with the spirit of Christmas. That's just like a little Easter egg in a way. Has nothing to do with the spirit of Christmas or relaying a Christmas-themed movie. Number 4, the chief villain, Hans Gruber, Alan Rickman, R.I.P., explicitly invokes the Christmas spirit by saying, "It's Christmas, Theo. It's time for miracles." Again, bad guys saying cheesy lines about what they're doing or about what's going on around them. Again, this has nothing to do with Christmas. This is just pointing out the obvious backdrop of what's going on, right? Every time a bad guy points out what's going on, it doesn't dictate the theme and the plot of the movie, right? It's not as if like, oh, well, I wasn't sure if it was a Christmas movie until he said this cheesy line, "It's Christmas, Theo, it's time for miracles." Then all of a sudden the Christmas spirit kicked in, and that's what made it a Christmas movie. Again, absolutely off base, holds no weight, doesn't pass the stress test. It's a dumb point, just like saying his wife's name is Holly. Gruber is a classic bad capitalist villain. He's there to steal money, just as Old Man Potter does in It's a Wonderful Life. The Grinch would be a better example here than It's a Wonderful Life. But again, stealing money, the reason why they bring up that is because the Grinch is specifically stealing presents, right? That's why they didn't bring up the Grinch. Again, stealing money and to act as if that's some kind of plot line to Christmas makes 0 sense. Again, it doesn't hold any weight. It doesn't pass the stress test of being Christmas themed. Again, if Ocean's 11 was set in December, would that make it some kind of Christmas movie? I don't think so. I don't think anyone would be calling Ocean's 11 a Christmas movie if it was set in December. So again, this just makes no sense. It's a weak argument. The soundtrack features Christmas tunes. Again, it's a subplot to the subplot. It's just a little Easter egg in the fact that the backdrop is Christmas. Playing music in no way, unless it's a movie about music in some way, like, some kind of documentary, autobiography, or based on a true story, or about how a certain type of genre music came about. The music has nothing to do with driving the plot line, right? Music has it's all about feel and mood, has nothing to do with the plot line and the theme of the movie and what it's about, what the message is about. No one watching Die Hard, right? When you're in the middle of Die Hard and, the action scenes are going on and the police roll up and all that, no one's thinking like, oh man, this is Christmas, man. Like, this is Christmas right here. I can identify with this Christmas theme. It's just not how, it just doesn't work like that. That's not how it works. Again, it's a complete and massive reach, an overreach at that, and they need to have their hands slapped back. Santa Claus makes an appearance in the form of a dead terrorist. Dead Santa Claus does not scream Christmas to me, right? You could say maybe with the movie Santa Claus and Tim Allen, one of the GOATs, right? Whenever he accidentally killed Santa and he becomes Santa, right? That's Christmas theme in terms of a dead Santa. A terrorist dressing up as Santa because it was the only thing around because, again, of the backdrop, and Bruce Willis kills him or he becomes dead, that doesn't scream Christmas theme to me. That doesn't scream like holiday cheer, if that makes sense. So again, it's a silly point. It's like another Easter egg or just a little innuendo. The film ends with the character of limo driver Argyle looking forward to New Year's Eve. Again, dates on a calendar does not make it a Christmas movie. Just because New Year's follows Christmas is not like something to add on to the pile of why this is a Christmas movie. So again, that one's weak. And this one actually made me a little mad. If you can't tell, I'm a little mad. You see, they say the final point is the clinching argument, which it's not. Anyone who professes the clinching argument, like before they have to say it, means it's not a clinching argument, is that Christmas is a socially invented tradition, and like all invented traditions, it continues to adapt and evolve. Nay, this is not a new take on Christmas, right? This is not again, like I said, no one is identifying with Die Hard and being like, man, I remember that time I had to stop a terrorist plot before I had to make it home to Christmas, right? This is not a new take or adaptation on Christmas. Again, this is lazy. This is what this is. It's lazy. Simply because Christmas is again, I'm going to keep saying the backdrop a lot. Just because Christmas is the setting and the backdrop doesn't make it a Christmas movie or Christmas themed. And simply because it happened like that doesn't make it a new adaptation or a new take on Christmas, correct? Home Alone is a new take on Christmas. Christmas Vacation is a different story of Christmas. Like, there's all these different ways you could have done a different take on Christmas, and this ain't it. Preventing a terroristic plot is not a new take on Christmas. All right, so now let's get into my points. Let's get into things I wanted to say. My main point to debunk this consumerist, capitalistic propaganda, right, that has taken hold of Christmas time in this movie, which I'm so sick of. I'm going to say it again. I can't believe people have been led astray like this to think that Die Hard is a Christmas movie, right? So I'm going to start off with a few movies, and when I say them, I want you to immediately ask yourself, do I think of this as a Christmas movie? Because I'm essentially going to lay out a lot of these plot lines, correct, in other movies that don't hold weight, right? So again, the whole trying to get home to your family, that's just sort of like an in conclusion. That's not a theme or a driving plot line of the movie. It's not the modus operandi of why the movie is good or the setting or the feeling of it. Again, Plane, Trains, and Automobiles is not a Thanksgiving movie. It's about two guys who couldn't be any more different, and they have to spend, an inordinate amount of time together that they normally wouldn't. They're put in all these, precarious situations. One guy gets on the nerves of another more than the other way around. That's the whole theme of the movie. That's why people watch it. People don't think of it as a Thanksgiving movie. They think of it as two good actors who played off of each other, and they play off the tension and all these funny things that happen to them along the way, correct? So again, it's not a Thanksgiving movie. If Plane, Trains, and Automobiles is not a Thanksgiving movie, then Die Hard, for that reason of trying to get home to his family, is not a Christmas movie, okay? The other movie, correct? The Shining. Does anyone think of The Shining as a Christmas movie? It takes place in the dead of winter, Christmas time. They're wearing Christmas sweaters. They're with their family. It's not a Christmas movie. It's anything but. Never has anyone ever told me, oh, when we gather around for Christmas, we like to sit around and watch The Shining, right? It's a dark movie. And much like Die Hard, right? Die Hard, although not as dark as The Shining, it's like a violence, action-packed movie. That doesn't scream or tell me anything about the Christmas spirit, correct? And just because there's a little sense of family and it's Christmas time and you get a little feeling that it's Christmas because they're wearing Christmas sweaters and all that kind of stuff, doesn't make it a Christmas movie. It's not the main theme of the movie, right? It's just a backdrop. Another one that I like to think of is there's a few movies during wartime, World War I and II, 1914 and the Battle of the Bulge, called Joy Noel and Silent Night. And essentially it's about the two different sides of the war having a ceasefire and kind of being in the no man's land, as they called it in one. And essentially the soldiers from both sides get together, they share stories or what have you, they ration out their food, and they have like a Christmas dinner, right? Those movies would never be considered a quote-unquote Christmas movie, right? They're really more about wartime and stuff like that. But the whole thing about coming together for Christmas dinner, putting aside your differences, etc., right? That has more of a Christmas theme than Die Hard does, correct? And I've never heard any of these movies, Silent Night and Joy Noel, I've never heard either of those called a quote-unquote Christmas movie, okay? I would actually agree more that those are Christmas movies because of the whole coming together, Christmas dinner, putting aside your differences. You're in a hard time, but you can sort of celebrate. The whole point of Christmas is you kind of drop everything you're doing in a way. You spend time with family, correct? That's more of a Christmas theme than Die Hard. Just Friends with Ryan Reynolds and Amy Smart, correct? This is more of a Christmas movie than Die Hard will ever be, right? And I still don't really consider it a Christmas movie, although it much more so is than Die Hard. Essentially, Ryan Reynolds, he starts off in his early years, he was fat and ugly and like girls weren't really into him, but he had this good friend he was always attracted to. So he goes off, he starts his professional career, he becomes an agent of musicians, really wealthy, doing good, has essentially everything he could ever want. He's lost the weight, so now he looks good, and he comes back to his hometown, which is another theme of Christmas. He comes back to his hometown, and he realizes like all he wants is a shot with this girl he used to have a crush on, right? And it becomes a whole thing. And again, that really necessarily, the backdrop of it is Christmas, but the theme of it really isn't Christmas. It's more of like an Ugly Duckling redemption arc in a way. It really has nothing to do with Christmas. The backdrop is Christmas, getting the families together is Christmas, coming back to your hometown is Christmas, right? That's more of a Christmas movie than Die Hard. And I don't even know if I'd really consider that a quote-unquote Christmas movie. I in the end, I'd probably give it to you, right? Because, again, the whole theme and the warmth of it and the warm fuzzy of it, right? You could call it a Christmas movie. I would give it to you, right? It's much more Christmas-oriented than Die Hard is. Trading Places. Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy, right? Happens on Christmas dinner. They trade places. It's kind of like a Prince and the Pauper kind of story. Two guys from totally different backgrounds, trading places, having to live each other's lives. They know what it's like to be the other guy, correct? Would anyone call that a Christmas movie? I don't think so. I mean, it's all about sort of understanding each other, which I guess is part of Christmas in a way. and it happens on a Christmas theme or Christmas time, and they have families and they're, etc., right? There's a lot of little Christmas innuendos and little themes here and there to it. I've never heard anyone call Trading Places a Christmas movie, because it's not. Just because it takes place during Christmas doesn't make something a Christmas movie. The other one is Batman Returns. Happens during Christmas time. There's all sorts of themes and hints of Christmas everywhere. You could even say the Penguin's kind of like this mogul, who's kind of some kind of, again, evil capitalist, right? But that's not a Christmas movie. And that one's a thriller and an action and a sort of crime drama, or however you want to put it. I've never heard anyone call that movie a Christmas movie. And there's a longing of family with Bruce Wayne as always, right? I don't hear anyone calling Batman Returns a Christmas movie. Again, just because it takes place during Christmas is not even getting halfway there to classifying something as a Christmas movie. Gremlins, right? Gremlins happens during Christmas. The kid is even gifted something that allows the gremlins to manifest and become something, right? I've never heard anyone call that a Christmas movie. For the most part, maybe a few outliers. No one calls that a Christmas movie. Grumpy Old Men, right? Takes place during Thanksgiving and Christmas, etc. That time of the year. I've never heard anyone call that a holiday movie. And they're going after the same girl. It's about two older guys going after their new neighbor, who's a decently attractive older female, and they get into all kinds of shenanigans, right? Trying to one up each other to get her attention. That's not a holiday Christmas movie, right? That one probably even has more themes of Christmas in it, people interacting with each other, etc., and not just murdering terrorists. That one has more themes of Christmas in it. No one would ever call that a Christmas movie, right? Wanting to have a family or be with someone, that's more, if you're going to say, oh, he wants to get home to his family, well, these two guys want to be with this woman, right? I mean, that's not a Christmas movie. No one's ever called that a Christmas movie. There's another one called Ice Harvest, which is like a mafia sort of action thriller, right? That happens to take place during Christmas. It has to deal with, people making and losing money or what having, stealing money, right? No one would ever call that a Christmas movie. And it's almost largely along the same lines of Die Hard in so many aspects. Maybe like 80 to 90% of the same aspects as Die Hard in terms of action, Christmas time, etc. No one would ever call that a Christmas movie. And so that's really my main point, right? And I'm essentially done, but you have all these other movies that take place during Christmas, and no one ever calls them a Christmas movie. And essentially what Die Hard boils down to is, happens on Christmas Eve, and people act like one of the main plot lines is that he wants to get back home to his family. That's just an everyday thing, right? For Bruce Willis and his character. He's got to go home. It's not like he was on vacation, right? It's not like he was on some 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, and he hadn't been home or whatever. He goes home every day. He sees his family all the time. And this thing is if that's one of the main drivers of it, correct? Even in Home Alone, at least they're separated, right? They become separated longer than they've ever been separated before. They all plan to go spend the holidays together, and they get separated, right? Even that's a better theme for being with your family on Christmas than simply you get sidetracked into having to subvert this terrorist plot so you can make it back home. That's not really one of the main plot lines or driving themes of the movie, and neither is the spirit of Christmas, right? And then again, the only other thing I might give them is that Die Hard 2 happens around Christmas time as well, correct? But they kill that when they go to 3 and 4, etc. They kill the holiday theme, they kill the Christmas theme, and it still isn't even a Christmas themed movie in 1 and 2, right? Whereas Home Alone has the same Christmas theme, the same Christmas setting, being away from your family, being separated more than you ever had, using toys and all these things around your house, guys trying to be like the Grinch and they're stealing things, etc. Those are more Christmas movies than Die Hard could ever hope to be, right? And so those are my main points, right? Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. Compared to all these other movies I just listed, there's no way you could ever call Die Hard a Christmas movie. It has no Christmas love, no Christmas themes, no like Christmas plot lines. There's no relatable experiences to what Christmas is like for the rest of us on average, right? I'm going to say it one more time. Subverting a terrorist plot has nothing to do with Christmas. And no one has ever said, I really identify with that Christmas movie Die Hard. Just like that one time I had to subvert a terrorist plot. That's really like a Christmas theme the rest of us can identify with. Traveling and getting lost from your family like Home Alone, we can all identify with that. Traveling with like 15, 20 people, mistakes happen, etc. Going on vacation, right? Even in like Christmas Vacation, all of the shenanigans they get into with their family and all the stress of that. Then you have movies like Santa Claus, where, it's literally being at the North Pole for Christmas. Like, Die Hard doesn't fill any of these holes or check any of these boxes. It's not a Christmas movie. And that's it. That's essentially, I'm going to leave it there. Anyone can challenge me on this if they want. The Viking helmet's on. I've had enough of this propaganda, all right? I'm breaking the conditioning. We're settling this once and for all. Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. End of story. See y'all next time.